Hi, I'm Phil Ramsey, author of Billibonk and the Thorn Patch. The books in this series aim to help children to see systems in the world around them. The videos we've produced here are to help parents use these books to support their children as they learn. Perhaps to have conversations about what lessons there are in the story and how these might apply in the child's life. You might wonder, why use stories to teach about systems? Well, I like stories because as a reader, you get another perspective on what systems thinking involves. What sort of attitudes or values help the characters to see the world in a new way? Key characters in the story are Billibonk and Frankl. In the Billibonk series, you can see how each of them has to develop. They have to learn. You can also compare the approach they take to other characters. You could say that a story helps us to get inside the mind of a systems thinker. Or perhaps because values and attitudes are involved, you could say we get inside the heart of a systems thinker. Systems thinking is not just a dry set of concepts that help people understand what's going on in complex situations. In Billibonk and the Thorn Patch, Billibonk the elephant does most of the learning, helped by Frankl. Let's consider two important areas in which Billibonk needed to develop. Firstly, he needed to understand that learning is important. And secondly, he learned the importance of humility. Throughout the book, Billibonk and other elephants needed to address their basic belief that when things go wrong for them, well, it's just bad luck. Getting stuck in a thorn patch was a turning point for Billibonk. He could sit in the thorn patch feeling sad about what had happened, but if he did that, he'd just stay stuck in the thorns. You and your child might identify a little with him. Billibonk's a nice elephant. He doesn't deserve to have bad things happen to him. Well, sometimes we are on the receiving end of random events. Billibonk realized an important lesson that also applies to us. Sometimes we contribute to the messes we get into. In Billibonk's case, he had a habit of not looking where he was walking, especially when he was doing something important like looking for food. Billibonk realized, though, that this was something he could learn. It didn't have to keep happening. You might say this is something he should have learned earlier in his life. Maybe when you're an elephant and you're big with a thick skin, you can get away with not knowing. Whatever the case, Billibonk hadn't learned this earlier, but that didn't stop him learning it now. So what's the lesson? There are always new things to learn in life. Maybe some are lessons we should have learned before. No matter. We can have a learning mindset and decide to learn them now. So that was the first key area of growth. The second area was the need for humility. This was something that both elephants and mice needed to learn. They got into a conflict with each other where each group wanted to be the winner. Each time they had a victory, well, they felt pretty good about themselves. Each victory for the mice, though, was a defeat for the elephants, which meant that the elephants got busy trying to make sure they got a victory over the mice, and vice versa. What stopped the mice and the elephants from seeing the bigger picture? What stopped them from seeing how they were provoking one another? Well, it was pride. They were concerned about themselves and what they wanted, as if they were the centre of the universe, or in this case, the centre of the jungle. Humility would have helped them to see that other creatures in the jungle all had their own concerns, their own goals. All these creatures had their own preferences. The elephants decided to clear the jungle of thorn patches. Humility would have helped them realize others would be affected. The rest of the jungle wasn't going to just neatly fall in behind the elephant's goal. Mice had to learn the same lesson. So systems thinking involves seeing beyond your own circumstances and interests. It means stepping back and trying to see a bigger picture, and that involves humility. Finally, there's an interesting relationship between learning and humility. As we've mentioned, both are important for systems thinking, and yet they need to be in balance. The more you learn, the more you may start to think you can control everything. You can set any goal, conquer any challenge. You might actually need to relearn humility. Humility, too, could be taken to an extreme, perhaps thinking that your interests and concerns are of no importance, and there's no point in trying to learn new skills that will make your life better. So, keeping qualities like humility and a learning mindset in balance, well, it's important. And maybe that could be a good topic of conversation in your family. I hope this video has given you an idea of some of the lessons you and your child can draw from Billibonk and the Thorn Patch. We live in a complex world, and having some insight into how complex systems work can help you with decision making. And, as Billibonk and Frankl discovered, with learning how to resolve conflicts. Happy learning.